do you think his legacy should be, Darren?
As an individual, I said earlier, a man that loved his friends, his family, as loyal as they come, and a heart of gold, and hands down the Babe Ruth of wrestling, and one of the biggest cultural icons over the past, 50, 60 years, without a doubt.
Vince, we lost Ozzy Osbourne, who was a good friend of mine. And then a couple of days later, we lose Hulk Hogan. And you could argue the two of them, actually, in the last 50 years, probably in my lifetime, would be in the top 10 cultural icons, really, for very different reasons. But two just incredible, larger-than-life characters with big global appeal and fan bases.
Piers, it's funny, man, because I've really been thinking about this the last couple of days. I can't imagine what it would have been like to be walking in Hulk Hogan's shoes. He had to be Hulk Hogan 24/7. If you put a picture of Hulk Hogan in front of anybody in this world, they knew who it was. So you're talking about a guy that goes out to a grocery store, a guy that wants to go for a drive in his car, guy that wants to go to the beach. They see Hulk Hogan. And for him to always have to be on and always have to deliver and always have to be the guy that his fans, thought he was and wanting him to be. Think about that for 40 plus years. I can't imagine Piers living that type of a lifestyle for 1 year. This guy did it his whole entire life, and God bless him, man. I don't know how he did it. The expectations were absolutely huge all the time.
It's very true. Bob, what was interesting was he kind of steered clear of too much political comment or revealing his allegiances and so on, until quite recently when he decided to get fully behind Donald Trump. And actually, I was at the rally at Madison Square Garden. I've only ever been to one political rally in my life, for anyone. And I spoke to Donald Trump that morning. He said, why don't you come down? I went down. And it was an extraordinary event. It was a week before the election, and it was clear to me then Trump was going to win because it was right in the middle of New York, and there were no protests. There were just 50,000 people trying to get in who were pro-Trump. And I thought, well, this election's over if even New York has just rolled over. But Hulk got up and made a really heartfelt speech as an American, really, that day. But of course, he was aligning himself with Trump in an overt political manner at a rally. And because of that, he got a bit of sniping from those who, don't like Trump and so on. Do you think he was wise to get political as he got older?
I think that Vince would back me on this. Terry had a really good, he could read the room quite well. That's what made him one of the best workers ever, is he could literally read the room. He could work the room. He could read the room. And so, he never really dabbled in the political world too much. But when Donald Trump, I think, was going to be the guy, Terry aligned himself perfectly. He had some projects coming up that would make Terry's brand even stronger with that large of a stage, being on the RNC. He nailed it. He absolutely nailed it. And I'd like to rewind just a little bit by saying, when I was talking earlier about him slowing down and canvassing across America, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful to somebody that I've loved so very much. I'm somewhat bitter, and I wish that his handlers maybe have listened to the doctors and slowed him down, because I don't say that out of disrespect. I say that out of, my grieving for my former best friend, and I just wish he would have slowed down. I in no way was trying to be disrespectful.
Let's take a look at that clip.
What happened last week when they took a shot at my hero and they tried to kill the next president of the United States? Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
I mean, Darren, what did you think about that? Obviously, it was a very powerful moment. Everybody watched the clip. It went everywhere. But I noticed a lot of people, you know, on the left who didn't like it and didn't like the fact he was so aligned with Trump. Do you think he cared at that stage, Hulk, or was he like, no, I'm doing this?
No, at that point it was after the assassination attempt, and we had many opportunities in 17, 18, 19 to support Trump. And you know, celebrities have to be very careful in today's world, you know, what side you're choosing, because you're losing half of your fan base. And after that assassination attempt, that was it. He just put his foot down and went all in.
Did he mind at all about any of the backlash? I mean, there was obviously a lot of people cheering him on as well. It was like it was just a wall of noise afterwards, good, bad, and ugly.
It wasn't
Did he have any regrets about?
For us. I mean, not.
No.
Yeah, at this time there wasn't as much backlash as I think there would have been if it was, you know, 5-6 years earlier.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, Vince, did you think it made any difference to his legacy that he went all in on Trump at the last election?
I'll tell you, this was the legacy, Piers, because I was watching that at home. I've been in the wrestling business for, my God, 35 years now. At 70 years old, Hulk Hogan cut a wrestling promo better than anybody in the business right now. At 70 years old, in front of millions and millions of people watching that live, Hulk Hogan showed everybody how it was done. That's the guy we're talking about. That's why he was at the forefront of Mount Rushmore, because at 70 years old, man, he was still doing it better than everybody else.
Bubba, just finally, had you had a chance to sit down with Hulk, with Terry, your great friend, to kind of bury the hatchet after all the problems from the fallout of the tape and so on, what would you have said to him?
I would have said, Terry, I think you know the truth on how this got out and who disseminated it and who was trying to profit from it. And it was all part of a radio war to get me fired. Inevitably, that's what happened. I lost everything from it. And you know that now that you've gone through the deposition process of both of these lawsuits. But more importantly, I owe you an apology. I love you. I hope you can forgive me. And, you know, Pierce, I actually had, and one of the people that I was, when this all went down, he had just married Jennifer, his second wife. He had just married her, and this thing dropped in 12, and it was really, really not good for their relationship, as obviously that wouldn't be. But just recently, I had an opportunity to apologize to her. I got on the phone with her, and I apologized to her, because that's somebody that I always wanted to apologize, was his innocent wife who he just married, that got caught up in this big salacious sleazeball tape deal. And she didn't have a dog in the fight at all. So I sleep better at night knowing I got a chance to apologize to her. But I really wish that that Terry and I could have had a conversation in some way, shape, or form. And I would have 100. I mean, I take onus of it all. He was an innocent bystander that got caught up in a radio war. You know, he made a lot of money from it, and I lost everything. But you know, maybe I had it coming to me.
Well, I'm very sorry to all of you for different reasons, in different ways, about the loss of this great character. Like I say, I met him once. I thought he was a lovely man to meet, and as a fan, I was like I said, the performance alone in Rocky. I never went to the wrestling much, apart from with my kids when they were young. But the Rocky performance was just so iconic, and just showed the world what a larger-than-life, massive, incredible character he was. And he'll be greatly missed. He was a real part of all our lives. So I'd like to thank all of you for joining me to pay tribute to him. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Piers Morgan Uncensored is proudly independent. The only boss around here is me. If you enjoy our show, we ask for only one simple thing. Hit subscribe on YouTube and follow Piers Morgan Uncensored on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And in return, we will continue our mission to inform, irritate, and entertain. And we'll do it all for free. Independent, uncensored media has never been more critical, and we couldn't do it without you.